Hello. Hi, everybody. I hope you're doing well. Jeannie Andreessen here. I am a couple minutes late. If you're located in Chicago, the weather has been wacky. It's like one second it's sunny, the next second it's pouring. So I was actually um, playing with the lights around me to try to get the best lighting, and this is what we've got today. So thank you for being here. I am Jeannie Andreessen. I am a life and business coach to interior designers. Today we're talking about asking for money. Asking for money there's a reason why I chose this topic today. Well, first, in the interior design industry, you have to be asking for money constantly. You have to be asking for money from the very beginning in regards to what someone's, hopefully from the very beginning, if you work with me, you're doing this from the very beginning, as to what someone's budget is. You're presenting design fees. As the project gets started, you are asking for credit card information, you are sending invoices, and then as the project really gets rolling, and ideally you are tracking your hours, you're starting to notice that the dollar amount that you originally said may not add up to the dollar amount that is happening, that you're projecting in the long run, and that you may need to circle back and even ask for more money. And the more that I work with my clients, the more common this theme comes up, which is being afraid to ask for money, being afraid to ask for more money. So that is why I wanted to talk about this today. Now, this is going to be likely a two-part series. I initially, when I started working on what I wanted to talk about today, I actually was jumping to part two. Part two, what you can expect from me next week, is how to ask for more money during the project. The reason why I started jumping to that is because that is what a lot of my conversations lately have been with my clients. It has been around, how do you charge? How do you charge effectively? And also, when somebody charges, when a designer is charging, how off it sometimes may be and how they're doing nothing about that instead of circling back and asking for more. So, if that is something you struggle with, odds are it is. Join me for next week for part two. But the reason why I wanted to start with part one is as I was creating what I wanted to talk about, the outline for part two, I realized how much comes first, how much comes before that moment of starting to circle back to your clients to ask for more billable hours. So I wanted to step back and say, what is the beginning of this? What does this look like from the very beginning? Where is this stemming from? And how do we change the way we're thinking about money? How do we change the way we think about it? How we ask for it? How do we do that from the very beginning so that the entire process is comfortable for you and something that you're confident in? So, I'm glad you're with me. If this is something you struggle with, please throw me a like and let me know. That'd be the best way to communicate that this is something that you are looking for more insight on. And I am glad that you are here with me today. So, actually, let me share with you that I used to struggle with this. My background, I talk a lot about my background in recruitment and running a recruiting business and working in a Fortune 100 company. I talk a lot about that. But there's something that prepared me even for those kinds of conversations, for those to go even stronger. I have a life experience that prepared me for even asking for money in the corporate world and even in my business today. And that is what I would define as what my first business really was. My first business was a babysitting business. In my early 20s, I ran a babysitting business. Honestly, late teens into early 20s, I ran a babysitting business. But initially, I did not look at it as a business. I looked at it as a revenue stream, and maybe a hobby. It's funny to even call babysitting a hobby because, quite frankly, like, when would that be a hobby if it's not like your own kids. Um, but I enjoyed watching kids. I enjoyed the experience of babysitting. I loved that I could control my own hours. I mean, I had worked a ton previously. I mean, I worked in restaurants and I worked in, honestly, just lots of restaurants. um, but when I started babysitting, I loved that I can control my schedule and I could control my hours. And I enjoyed it. I enjoyed that I could control my clients as well. Control my clients meaning I got to choose who they were. So I am walking you through this because when I first started doing this, it was not treated like a business. I mean, my gosh, I had clients come my way and I would give them, they would ask for what I charged and I would hem and haw around what I charged. I didn't know how to charge. I didn't even take into, factor whether it was one child or four kids. And all of that really led me to feeling very confused about these conversations. You guys, now it is sunny. I swear it was just pouring like 5 minutes ago. I like want to turn off all of these lights because I have like the greatest sunlit room or sunlit home. So I don't know, this natural sunlight I'm like feeling, and these artificial lights I'm like not a fan of right now. Okay. So that is how I got here. And I want to paint that picture to you because I ran this babysitting business for probably about 4 years. I would say from age 19 to 23, maybe even into 24. I really ran a babysitting business. Now, when did it become a business? When I started treating it like that. When I did start leaning into asking for a certain dollar amount. When I first started getting more confident, setting certain expectations in regards to my clients and when they would pay me. But for years I struggled, and for years I undercharged. So I want to help you avoid that. It's so funny. I don't mean to compare what I did when I was 20 or 21, 22 to maybe the interior design business you have today. But I learned a lot doing that. I overcame a lot doing that. And by the end of running that business, I was making a lot more money than when I started running that business. And not a ton changed except for the way that I approached it. Now, when I walked into the corporate world, when I took over this recruiting department, when I was really owning, the responsibility I had in that Fortune 100 company, over those years, I was with them for 9 years, I had to ask for money. I had to ask for money for different parts of the program that I was running, and I definitely asked for more money in terms of my own income, my own salary. And all of that has led me to being much more confident today in asking for money from in my business, from my clients, from the work that I do, and I no longer approach it so scared. So all of that to say, I want to help you make more money in your business, and it really starts with the approach we take when we're asking for money. So let's go to why is it that we get so afraid asking for money? Because we are taught that that it's not something that we should be asking for or talking about. We are often taught and raised that making money is everybody should be making a lot of money. Everybody wants to make a lot of money, but you shouldn't talk about money. You shouldn't ask for money. You should be afraid that if you put yourself out there to ask for a certain dollar amount and it gets rejected, that means something about you. We are raised to really fear these money conversations, which is why so many of my clients walk into a contractual agreement with a prospective client without having an official budget even decided upon or declared, because they don't want to offend anybody by putting out there what their budget is and how much that is actually going to cost them. So making money, so we are wired in this way. We are wired to think that it's bad, that it's wrong, and that a lot of times there's a story going on in our minds that somebody else should be presenting to us money, someone else should say, here is what I'm going to pay you, instead of us declaring that first. In business, it does not work like that. In business, we are setting our own rates and we are letting somebody else know how much it costs to work with us. So when we are fearing asking for money and we think that it's bad, it causes us to be afraid to ask for it. And when we are afraid to ask for it, we don't ask for it, or we ask for it in a way that is very sheepish. None of that brings us what we want. If we're not asking for it, then that really puts us in a pickle if we're entering into working with somebody and they don't know how much we're even charging. Now, if we're asking for it sheepishly, if we are setting out there for like, okay, well, this is what I'm going to be charging, and we're asking for it not with confidence, not with belief, not with conviction, but with guilt, with fear, with insecurity, we are going to be either attracting clients who feed off of that and will take advantage of it, or we are going to be setting ourselves up regardless to be undercharging from the very beginning. The truth is, money is necessary. And the sooner you get to realizing this and believing it, the sooner you will give yourself permission to make more of it. Making money in this world is very necessary. It is necessary to live, have a roof over your head, for you to have food in your mouth, food in your kids' mouths. It is necessary for you to have light on in your home so that you can do the things that you enjoy, such as reading or working or watching a show or knitting a blanket. All of those things cost money. And when we tell ourselves that money is not important, we are lying to ourselves in a way that is keeping us from making more of it. So I want you to recognize the truth is that money is very important and it's very, very necessary. So if we really believe in that, if we can, and that's, I hope, something that you can believe in with me right here, right now. I hope that doesn't take additional coaching, that you and I are on the same page. Money is important. Money is necessary. We need it to survive. When we get at least right there, we can free ourselves up to say, okay, so asking for it is not a greedy thing to do. Asking for it allows me to survive. Asking for it and making it allows me to make sure that my kids are living a positive life. So making money is necessary. That is kind of the first step in really confidently asking for money. The next part that I want to bring you to, though, is making more money and being able to ask for more money confidently. And to get there, we have to believe that when we make more money, the world is a better place. Think about who you would be if you don't have vacations in your life, if you don't have healthy food to eat, if you don't have a home that lights you up, if your children don't have soccer cleats that fit them. If those things are not there, how does that have you show up in life? If people can guilt you all day long about loving getting a massage on a monthly basis or even a weekly basis. But if you don't have that, who do you become? You become a little bit less of who you really are. And that is a person who shines bright, happily, and is their best selves. That's what that is. So when we can get to this place of, wait a second, making more money allows me to be better people, better for my children, better for my spouse, better for this interaction that I am having with the person with the coffee with the Starbucks barista as I'm grabbing my coffee. When you strip away at the things that make you your best self, you are left with a depleted version of you. And that person does not shine. And when you're not shining, you are not doing what you were meant to do here on this earth and on this planet. Now, also, when you are making money, you also are providing something in return for it. You are never just taking somebody's money. Hopefully. You're providing something in return for it. What are you providing in return? That's what you need to sink your teeth into. That's what you need to believe in. That when you ask for money, it is always in the other person's best interest because it's to give them what it is that they want. And what do they want? They want their home finished beautifully as a reflection of them in a way that you help them achieve. That's what they want. And you have to ask for money in order to give them their best result. Now, a lot of my clients have a shift that happens when they start running a business. And that is, they have been running an interior design business. And that is, they have been an interior designer their entire life and have been likely giving away so much for free for so long. They have been popping over to people's homes, friends of friends' homes, not even their own friends' home, but friends of friends' homes. They're popping over, they're giving all of this advice. They're possibly even hanging up photos for them. They're pointing them in all of these different directions. They're introducing them to to their framer, to whoever your contacts are. And once a designer starts to decide, once they decide that this is going to be an interior design business, that shift becomes very challenging when it comes to asking for money. But what I want to offer you is what I've just taught you, and that is you have chosen to take your gifts and turn it into a business and turn it into a revenue stream. You have chosen to take your gifts and become a business owner who now pays their mortgage, pays for their kids' soccer training, pays for their dog's vet bills with the income they receive from their design business. And that is a big shift from doing this as a hobby and not having it be your main revenue stream. But when you can be unapologetic in the business that you have started and the business that you run, you are able to confidently communicate to others that this is now a business and that these are your service offerings, and your role is to offer your services for a price and let other people choose if they want to opt into it or opt out of it. And neither of those are your problem. A lot of times we think it's up to us to convince our prospective clients to pay us. And I think I think there's two parts of this. One is it is your responsibility to let people know, let the world know, and let your ideal clients know what you do, that you're good at it. You can do these things through marketing, not through just having, some sort of discovery call and then, forcing upon them how great you are at what you do. But it's this idea of like letting people know, yes, you are great at what you do, and here's how you can help them, and here is the price point. But it's up to the other person to decide if this is something that they value. It is not up to you to decide for them that this is something valued. It's not up to you to convince them that this is something that they value. That is a decision that they make. But if you were to show up and ask for money, and you're simultaneously convincing them that you are worth this dollar amount, that is not how to confidently ask for money. Your role in this is to show up as the youest you possible. Your role in this is to make sure that you are marketing, that you are sharing your services, that you are sharing your afters, your client, the work that you do with your clients, that you are showcasing the value that is you. That is your responsibility. And your responsibility is to put yourself out there to let people know that you are available if someone wants to book you. Their responsibility is making that choice on whether or not this is something that they value and something that they care to invest in and spend money on. That is their choosing. That is their responsibility. That is not your own. So I wanted to walk you through this. I wanted to take you through this because next week I'm going to be talking about asking for money during a client project. And in order to do that confidently, we have to rewire our beliefs to believe in what it is that we are asking for, that we are more than deserving of money coming our way, and that making money is a wonderful thing, and you are providing value in return for that money that you are asking for. Now, if you are someone who has thought up until this point that making money is wrong, asking for money is wrong, that you should be afraid of it, that it is, if somebody doesn't act on something that you offer, if somebody doesn't say yes to working with you, that means something about you, that you are not worth it and that you are not valuable, then I want you to spend time in the beliefs that do serve you, because none of those serve you. If you think making money is bad, making money is negative, and asking for money is wrong, how will that have you show up in your business? Not strong. If you were to spend time thinking, maybe making money is actually a really wonderful thing. I want to have more money. I think I deserve to have more money. And when I ask for money from this client, I'm not just asking for money, I'm providing all of this in return for that money. And because of that, this is actually a wonderful thing for everybody. If you were to spend more time there, take a look at how that has you show up in your business. Over the next week, before next Tuesday, when I talk about asking for more money during a project, I want you to spend time believing in the dollars that you ask for, believing in your rate, believing in knowing your client's budget up front, believing in your design fees. I want you to spend more time believing in those things, so that next week, when I talk about how to ask for more money later on in a project, you are not being blocked by the fear of money in general. Do you have questions? I'm like, any questions on this? Let's see who we got here. Any questions on this? Um, if you are looking for a resource on this and you have not downloaded my Confident Charging Guide yet, you can do so at the link in my bio. You can do so if you're hanging out with me on Facebook. You can do so at the link in this caption. You can grab it on my website. But my Confident Charging Guide gets you into that belief energy of what it is that you are asking for and becoming unapologetic when you are asking for money. My first few years of running my babysitting business, I mean, I was offering sliding scale rates. I just had no process around around making money. I was just making it and I was winging it. And the busier I got, the more I started doing math and realizing this is a legitimate revenue stream. And I started taking it more seriously. I started getting clear on what my rate is. I started charging for it if there were more kids involved. I began cancellation fees. I am telling you, this was not just a babysitter who shows up once in a while. I was somebody who took this very seriously because it was a revenue stream. And I made a lot of money doing it happily because I was confident and I was in charge. And I was unapologetic, especially as I turned 24 and knew that I was even more responsible than the 16-year-old down the street that they would maybe have babysit once in a while. I'm like, no, you were getting a sharp 24-year-old coming to watch your children and make sure that your pride and joys are taken care of, well fed, get into bed comfortably. I'm making sure that if they're scared of monsters, I'm here to fight them. Like, I was confident. And that was available to me at 19, at 20, at 21, 22, and 23 as well. The only thing that changed is how I began to approach it. So I offer that to you to give you this resource. Head to the link in my bio, download my Confident Charging Guide. Head to my website, download my Confident Charging Guide. Head to this caption, download my Confident Charging Guide, and let that be helpful to you. Now, one more thing before we hang up, and I'm going to be mentioning this a few more times over the next few weeks, but I have now opened up my schedule for single coaching sessions. So prior to, like, probably today, because this is very new in my business, you had to enroll in order to coach with me. You had to commit to a 3-month program, which is my most popular option. My clients are working with me for 3 months at a minimum. But I'm now opening up my calendar for single sessions. So if there is something where you just want to go to work on one thing in your business and you don't want to sign a contract for 3 months, I can help you as soon as today. So if that's of interest to you, head to my website or head to the link in my bio, and you can schedule a 45-minute coaching session with me to work through anything that you are struggling with in your business. Okay, that's what I have for you today, friends. I will see you next week for part 2. And I hope you have a wonderful rest of your Tuesday. Take care, friends. Bye.